Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome Mr. Victor Wong, Brother Principal, my friends, and all the teachers here today for the workshop on music and its essence in theater and choral style. Before we begin, I would like to call Brother Pinchai Latam to say the beginning prayer, followed by Professor Dr. Bocha Pranglingdo, the head of the Department of Music, for the welcome speech.
Let us bow our head and put ourselves in the loving hands of God the Father. As we gather together, we ask for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we are about to begin the workshop. We praise you for this day and your purpose for it. Reset our agendas as we sit in your presence. For you assure us that where two or three gather in your name, you are there. Recalibrate our intentions and refocus our hearts that your will in our lives may be fulfilled now and always. Help us to understand that we don't need full clarity to walk into the unique purpose you have inlaid in our lives. Lift our eyes to seek you first today and always, surrendering our need to achieve, understand, and be known. Shift our perspective to seek you above all else. In every situation that we ponder in our daily lives, let the Holy Spirit translate your commands, give us renewed strength and godly courage to obey you without questioning. Forgive us for striving beyond our means, worrying and forcing results. With this, may we humbly ask you to shower our speaker for today's workshop with your blessing, that may he be filled with of the greatest inspiration of yours. He may be filled with your wisdom and share the most of his knowledge, heart, and soul to his respective topic for today, music and its essence in theater and choral style. May we also observe the invaluable knowledge experiences and put it into practice that we may learn today. We humbly ask you that you continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for your greater glory, and for the service of humanity. We ask this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
May I call upon Professor Dr. Bocha Pranglingdo for the welcome speech?
Greetings to one and all. It gives me immense warmth and pleasure to welcome you to this workshop, which is organized by the Department of Music, St. Anthony's College. It gives me tremendous contentment to be presenting the welcome speech amongst the most esteemed personality who has won many accolades in the music field. Respected Principal, Reverend Dr. Brother Albert Longley Dakar, Vice Principal, Father Javasius Nokse, Rector, Reverend Dr. Father Joey Joseph, esteemed faculty members of the Department of Music, and my dear students. I feel honored to welcome everyone for taking a keen part in this important event of the Department of Music. It is a privilege and honor to welcome our esteemed guest and resource person, Sir Victor Wong, to this event. On behalf of our college, I would like to convey my gratitude for accepting our invitation and grace the occasion with your expertise in the field of music. Originally from Hong Kong, Sir Victor is a UK trained international music teacher and is currently heading the music department at Mahindra, formerly Mercedes-Benz International School. Originally just a classical trained pianist, he discovered singing at the age of 13 by accidentally joining the school choir. The love of singing was then further nurtured in church. By the time he left for university, he had served in leading positions in church and school choirs and co-founded a student-led a cappella group in Hong Kong, which sings to this day. In UK, Sir Victor was a choir director in his church and joined the local barbershop a cappella group, where he later led as music director. He later was a member of the barbershop quarter Cadence, who played fourth in the UK at its peak. In these roles, he has attended many international workshops on vocal craft and pedagogy. He also enjoys participating in musical theater and has directed and produced full scale shows at school. Sir Victor still leads choral and a cappella coaching sessions in the UK and Hong Kong during the school holidays and is a piano educator for the Association of Music in International Schools. Music and its essence in theater and choral style is a relevant and important topic. Music is divided into many genres, and two of them being theater music and choral music. Theater music is that kind of music which accompanies drama and plays, whereas choral music is that kind of music related to church music and that involves singing in parts. The aim and objective of this workshop is to highlight the beauty and the real understanding of music in the world of theater and choral music. The workshop will cover the following points: instrumentation, on the choice of instruments for plays, and then the mental effects of the notes or scales based on scenarios on a particular play, and then the different styles of choral singing, harmonization, the vocal dynamics, vocal techniques, the warm-ups, etc. And also acquiring perfect or the relative pitch. Before we begin this workshop, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who have sincerely committed to this event to make it a success. This event would have been impossible without the support of each and everyone present here. I am sure that you all will feel enriched and with knowledge of the completion of this event. I welcome you all once again to the workshop and hope that you all will have a great time ahead. Evermore, better ever.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful speech. Now I would like to call Yate Lang and his group to the stage for the song. The song is called Tobe Ya Kajingstan. It was composed by Yate Lang Lingdot Sangriang, the student of music department from the third semester. The song is about wisdom, which is a gift from God. It talks about how we must strive for knowledge and work hard while there is still an opportunity. Let not anything be an obstacle. Where there is a will, there is a way. Thank you so much, Yatelang and group, for the beautiful performance. You have truly proved that music is powerful, and as people listen to it, they can be affected and they respond. I would like to invite Brother Principal and Mr. Victor Wong to the stage for the felicitation. the word of encouragement and declaration.
Very good afternoon to one and all. In a very special way to the head of the department, Professor Bot Shafran, who is the head of the department, Mr. Victor Wong, our resource person of this afternoon workshop, faculties, and my dear students. Let me take this opportunity to welcome the first semester student. I know you have been already in the online classes, but physically we are seeing you first time. So we would like to welcome all of you to St. Anthony's, to the Department of Music, and all of you. As somebody who loves enjoying music, this event is indeed a delight for me. Once in a while, you get the opportunity to learn how music is created and produced and what makes it so soothing, inspiring, and intense. Today, we have the opportunity to get to know music as an art and as a science and learn from someone who has enjoyed good music, learn about it at great length, but more important, created some wonderful music of his own. I would like to commend the efforts and initiative of the Department of Music under the leadership of Professor Bot Shafran Linda, its head. Under the present circumstance, to be able to host such an exciting event with an international resource person is truly remarkable feat. It is like a breath of fresh air that comes unexpectedly over the lush green fields to blow away the toxic gases of boredom, monotony, and despair churned up by the pandemic. That is what music actually does to all of us. I am thinking of beautiful, soothing music or lively songs that have been well composed. I'm aware of other types of music that make you want to bury your head in the sand to keep yourself from going deaf or mad. At this very moment, I am thinking of old songs and music composed for Hindi art films. They are very wonderfully made with meaningful message. They don't make movie songs like them anymore. Mr. Victor Wong, on behalf of St. Anthony's College and the Department of Music in particular, I extend to you our warmest welcome and our sincerest gratitude to you for accepting our invitation to participate in this event as our resource person. We can only imagine what you have had to do to make this possible, and we are deeply appreciative of the fact that you considered coming alongside our institution and investing your time and energy and share your rich knowledge and experience with our faculties and students. So thank you, sir, for doing this for us. In the past, I have had the opportunity to do in a small way what Mr. Victor Wong has been doing for many years. While I was an administrator in school, I was able to get teachers and students to host a concert that had a blend of drama, song, and music. It was such a happy feeling to see our young boys getting up on stage to perform their pieces. So when I learned that we were going to host this event, naturally, I was excited. The title and write-up brought up memories and anticipation of recapturing the joy of being part of the production. I am very hopeful that we are going to have a lovely experience today. For many of you who are attending this event, who are already immersed in the music of various genres, what I am sharing with you may be something that is a common thing, since you not only enjoy but create music of your own. But I would still like to invite you to approach the event with fresh eyes, or in this case, ears, and a willingness to explore new concepts and ideas and courage to push the boundaries of what you can not only learn but experiment and work with soon. Enjoy the privilege of being taught by a master composer, performer, and teacher, and take home precious gems of insight and information that you can put into practice in your practice session and actual performance as well. Well, I wouldn't like to end up sounding a wrong keynote by rambling on, so I will conclude here. Thank you for giving me your patient listening and especially for an opportunity to address you all. Evermore, better ever. Thank you. And once more, welcome to St. Anthony's College and to the first year to the Department of Music. And have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to call Sir Wong on the stage to take over the rest of the session.
It's always weird hearing yourself. Okay. Thank you so much for the welcome, first of all. So good to see all of you here. This really isn't about me, right? This is about all of you. And so feel free to just ask questions. If there's something you want to know a little bit more, I can see if I would be able to get into that. But really, this is your time. So please do take the opportunity to ask questions, and if there's anything you want in particular to learn about. I'm just going to start off with a bit of stuff about choir vocals. And we come to this very important question. Why do we do warm-ups? Anyone know? Hazard a guess? Why do we do warm-ups? What's the purpose of them? Just so we come together and go, ah, don't we sound good? What's the purpose? A brave risk taker somewhere? Activate the muscles we're going to use. Absolutely, that's one of the reasons, right? Just like an athlete wouldn't just go into a sprint without doing some stretches, we've got to do some stretching of the vocal cords, make sure our body is aligned, and that we're ready to sing. And it brings me to the next point. I'm speaking to you as thinking of you all as future leaders, directors, so on and so forth. But even then, if you're singing, then you should be thinking about these as well. So warm-ups, we warm up, sure. One of the reasons is to prepare ourselves. And we should think about that. What are we actually working for? What's the purpose of our practice, our rehearsal? Is it because somewhere the choir isn't singing to the end of the phrase because of breath support issues, in which case our warm-ups should be working on breath support, right? There's no reason to work on exercises that go, yeah, and so on and so forth, way up into the stratosphere, when you're not going to use it in the rehearsal. So the warm-up is an integral part of the rehearsal, and you've got to plan that out. Or in the case if you're doing personal practice, you've got to plan that out as well. What is it that I want to work on? So, characteristics of good sound. Generally, the school of thought that I come from, there's 4 main characteristics of good sound. 1, it's well supported. A well-supported sound means that it's able to travel, to be projected. It's freely produced. In other words, there's no constriction, there's no tension in the body. It's really as natural as it can be. It's resonant, and we'll talk a little bit more about resonance later. That's something I can spend hours talking about. And most importantly, for all music, or for all vocal music, but especially in theater music, it needs to be believable, right? So I'm taking off my mask for a little bit so you can see my face. I'm very happy. I'm very sad. It's very believable, isn't it? Right? And sometimes we get that when we're singing, you know, in theater, it tends to be love songs, right? Heart of my heart, I love you. And then the bass is like, heart of my heart, I love you. Like, really? Really? If you're singing in church, right? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, right? Actually think about the lyrics and make it believable. That's probably the most important thing. Vocal music, above all other types of music, has this additional way of communication because we have lyrics, right? Instrumental music, it's great, but it's abstract. With vocal music, we have lyrics. So you must make them believable. That's enough of me talking. Let's talk a little about, well, that's a little bit enough of me just talking, I should say. And let's talk about some warm-up. First of all, to be well supported, to make a well-supported sound, we need good posture. Oh, nobody moved. This is the first. Let's see some good postures. Come on. All right. That's fine. Sitting is fine. Okay. And so, first of all, good postures. So immediately everyone sat up a little bit straighter, right? What we want to do as well when we're singing is to have the shoulders back so that the chest is held up high and it's proud, right? Imagine Superman coming through the, you know, bashing in through the door. I'm here. Or, hey man, you need some help? Right? Or even worse. No, you want help from this guy, right? Be proud. You're about to give someone the gift of music. So it's about this sort of wide chest, the shoulders back and down, right? Not up, and being very proud. Head, imagine you're being measured for your height, and I need every single inch. So I'm just gonna imagine I've got a wall behind me and I'm going to elongate the back of my neck, right? It's not looking down because we don't want constriction, but we're just elongating the back of our neck, okay? So we've got good posture. If we're sitting, we kind of want to sit on the first third of the seat. And just before you move, just try to feel what's happening down here as you shift forwards, right? You should feel that all of a sudden there's more room. Incidentally, if you go to the buffet, this is how you get a little bit more bang for your buck, right? So let's just move that up forwards to the first third of your chair so that you're still on the edge of it almost. Don't fall, okay? And still keeping that nice posture. All right. Good. So that's the first thing, good posture, using the muscles to support the carriage, the instrument, right? And then next is the breath. And so many times we think about oh God, I'm not breathing in enough. But today I'm going to tell you about something else, and it's actually the opposite of it, right? So first of all, I want you to hiss out everything on, wait for it, okay? I'll tell you first. Hiss out for 4 counts, and by 4, you must be empty, okay? So not, and I can still talk, I'm still fine because I've got plenty left in the tank, right? Everything out, right? And you can feel, you should feel if everything is out. Your body wants to collapse on itself, but you're going to use your muscles to hold it upright. We're going to hold for the count of 4, right? So hiss for 4, hold for 4. And then without letting the body collapse, you're just going to relax and feel the air rush in through your masks. What strange times we live in, right? Okay, so here we go. Everyone ready? Here we go. Hissing out for 4, hold for 4, and then relax and feel the air just rush in. Okay, check your posture. Here we go. And relax. And you should feel, because you've created that negative pressure by hissing out everything, air just rushes in naturally if everything is nice and relaxed. Just try that. If you didn't try that, try to keep relaxed. If you need to feel what relaxed is, do a few pants, right? That sort of thing, so that there's nothing in the way, nothing sort of blocking it off. I should say when you hold, don't hold, you shouldn't feel tension here in the throat, okay? You shouldn't hear tension here in the throat. It shouldn't be when you, that sort of sound, right? It should be held because you're just pushing everything out. Here we go. Ready? And okay, hopefully you all felt that, right? Now, this time, same thing, but all we're going to do is we're going to help it a little bit more, again, using the muscles. So hiss, hold, then this time, we're just going to help it by thinking about expanding the amount of space we have for the air to rush in. That's all. We're not breathing in. We're just letting the air come into us. All right, here we go. Check the posture and relax. Right? Very important. I say this every time I give these workshops is if you're teaching someone breathing, always remember to tell them to relax or breathe normally after you finished. You don't want that, right? So hopefully you felt that. And how is that important? Well, it means that if you've got a song, you know, I'm going to use Amazing Grace again. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. I'm nearly out. I didn't do well. So now I'm going to go back, think about it a bit more. Where's the middle of the phrase? How should I feel? But I should run out by the very end. I shouldn't do Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Right? I've still got air in me. So imagine like it's not the perfect analogy, but imagine you've got a tank, right? And you've used up half, and then you go and tank up again. Well, that old stale air is preventing you from getting extra new oxygen in, right? So you want to make sure as much as possible by the ends of phrases, you want to be completely empty so that when you relax and you let the air rush in, notice I'm not saying when you breathe in, right? When you let the air rush in, so much of this is about almost like this sort of, if I could bring it to the analogy with Christianity, is like almost submission, right? and letting it happen to you, right? So getting it, that breath in is not about trying to suck it in and force it in. It's about letting it happen, right? Because guess what? The more you try to grab at it, the more you're increasing tension, right? You're like, that sort of thing, right? You hear that sort of sound in choirs all the time, quick breath or something. No, just let it come. It will come. The pressure differential will help you do that. Okay, so let's all sing. May, and what you're aiming for is that by the end, you're finished in terms of air, but it's still well supported towards the end. So first of all, remember to get a good breath, you must breathe out first, right? So at the beginning of the piece, that's what the most important thing is, breathing out, not breathing in, right? So here we go. So 1, 2, 3, out, and then wait. 1, 2. Yeah, so it'll be 1, 2, sorry, 1 out in May. So it'll be on 2 that you breathe out, 3 that you breathe in. So here you go. 1 out in amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Huh. And hopefully you feel that at the end, naturally, the breath just wants to come in, right? There's no thought of, oh God, I need to take a breath. I need to take a good breath. It will just happen, right? Now we'll go on to the next phrase. Here we go. So 1 out in, and 1 out. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, saved a wretch like me. Okay, cool. That's nice. All right, so that's one thing I just wanted to work on breath. It's going to take time. Now, if you're one of these people that if you're breathing out, you don't feel your stomach expanding, but it's going in, it happens, right? Then what I would suggest you do is lie down on the floor, have your shoulders back again, and then just place one hand on your chest, one hand on your stomach, the very bottom of your stomach, and just feel this top hand. Oops, there's a mic there. This top hand should not move. All you should feel is this bottom hand move, right? And you can see I've done so much dedication to my craft for this education specimen here that you can all see very clearly. Right, okay, so that's a breath. It will take time if you haven't experienced this before, right? When I was first taught this, days and days of trying to breathe properly lying in bed. Use it to calm yourself before you sleep, right? Some good breathing. And then you might find, oh, I can do it. Oh, it's gone back to normal. It's natural, right? It will take you some weeks, maybe some months. It's learning or relearning a set of muscles. I say relearning because if you ever see babies sleep, you will see their stomachs rise and fall, right? It's just that as we grow older, these chest muscles become more developed, so they take over that task. And because we're lazy and we can deal with just breathing that much air, we forget how to use this to really breathe deep. So that's just about breath. Okay, let's do some more. Vowels, pure vowels, 5 of them, right? Say them all with me. They are A, E, I, O, U, right? A, E, I, O, U. Say them with me this time, but drop the jaw. Okay, if you need to know how much you drop the jaw, there's this place right in front of your ears, and that's kind of where you feel the top of your jawbone. And if you drop it just enough, you should feel that jawbone, that hinge, just drop a bit and your fingers go in a little bit. Right? Now, just let that happen. No need to go. You're not about to eat a Big Mac. Right? Also not very believable if you're telling someone you love them. Okay, so just relax the jaw, let it drop of its own accord. Relax the tongue, because sometimes the tongue likes to be tense still, and you drop the jaw, stays down there, and the tongue gets pulled back. So relax the tongue along with the jaw, let it just drop. Okay, and then not very good. Just say the vowels, but try not to move the jaw as little as possible. Just mainly the lips, and the tongue would move slightly to help facilitate these vowels as well. So here we go. A, E, I, O, U, and I, O. Hopefully the jaw didn't move. Let's try one more time. And I, O. Now this time, let's energize these vowels a little bit. So it's not I, O. Right? I call these the apple muscles. Nothing to do with the company. Right? Because when you go and bite an apple, these lift so that you don't bite your own lip, right? You never bite an apple like this. So imagine yourself biting an apple, these naturally lift. And if someone says, oh, you're smiling really nicely, just accept it. But really, you're eating an apple. All right, so we're going I, E, O. Here we go, together. And I, O. And already we're starting to get some pitch, right? I don't know if you noticed, but we're starting to get some pitch just by having good vowels, right? Just by lifting these muscles, energizing the vowels, we're starting to get a semblance of pitch. This is our natural kind of resonance that's creating these pitches, right? Let's do that to A pitch though. Let's take E. Whichever octave you like. Da or da. I'm going to take that one. Here we go. I'm not going to sing this time because I can't hear you over the mic. Here we go, and. Good. Now, the last note always has the short straw. And this happens in exercises, in choral music, in theater music. It always tends to happen. It's the first thing you listen out for, right? I, O. Right? It's like, oh, we've reached there. Ooh, don't have to worry anymore. I, O. That last note is just as important as the first. Don't give it short change. Here we go, and good. Some of you have forgotten the apple muscles. Here we go, and good. A little bit lighter on that sound immediately when more of you started using these muscles, right? Cool. Let's do a little bit of a song. All around the world. And the words are all around the world, all around the world, all around the wide world. Okay, goes like this. All around the world, all around the world, all around the wide world. Here we try and all around the world. because we're working on vowels, I'm going to remind you these muscles, right? So even though we're not, this is minor, and we typically associate that with sadder emotions, right? We still need to engage these muscles, but maybe not as much as, right? But we still engage them slightly, so they're pulled up. All around the world, jaw doesn't really move. The reason is you've got a good sound already, right? Oh, you move it, you change the sound. You've changed the shape. To get back there, all around the, you can hear whoa, whoa, whoa. So all around the world, if I've got my target, what I perceive, and this is where you've got to do a little bit of critical listening to yourself. Once you've got that good sound, right, you want to preserve it. Treat it with care. Is Diwali, right? So imagine that candle, it needs to be protected, right, from the wind and everything. So all of this that comes in just threatens that perfect vowel. So thinking of the jaw, thinking about these nice tall vowels that you're going to create with these apple cheeks. I should copyright that. I don't know, maybe Apple one day would sell something like that and I'll be a millionaire. Where was I? Oh, here we go. And all around the world, all around the world, all around the wide world. Men, I know you want to sing some bass. Here we go. All around the world, all around the world, all around the wide world. Here we go. And ladies, if you want to as well. And all around the world, all around the world, all around the wide world. I'll do it one more time so you can see. All around the world, all around the world, all around the wide world. Two parts, whichever part you want, high or low. Here we go. I'm going to stop singing and. Cool. Now, think about the sound you just produced, and then think about the most perfect version of yourself. Choose to be that version of yourself. Here we go, and isn't it funny? When you are presented with the choice of being better, you choose to do it. But when you're not, you just become lazy. I hope you heard the difference, right? All of a sudden, this place was resonating. All right, so altos. All around the world, all around the world, wide world. So in the beginning, you start at the same place as the sopranos. Sopranos go up, you go down. All around the world. Sorry, it's the same thing, and then you split on world. So it's just the ladies, and then it goes in thirds until the very end when you meet up again. Here we go, and. All around the Meet up. There we go. Now we know what we're doing. Let's sing it with a bit more confidence. Here we go, and with the basses, here we go, and be perfect. Cool. Tenors. All around the world. So you start on 5. So all around the world, all around the world. It goes like this. All around the world, all around the world, all around the wide world. Do it with me, here we go, and all around the world, all around the world, all around the wide world. Okay. And just to remind you, breathing, a good outward breath in the very beginning to breathe in well. The posture, just check that. Vowels, the apple cheeks, right? All of those things. Remember, for those of you who drive, how many people here drive? Oh, not a lot. Okay, when you learn how to drive, it's like you've got the steering wheel, you've got the gears, you've got the clutch, and all of a sudden you're like, up, right? It's like, what? And then you stall the car, right? This is the same, right? Your mind, because it's doing so many different things, you'll forget one thing. You might forget even 2. That's fine. Remember it for later and practice it later, right? Okay, but just to remind you, posture, breath, vowels. That's what we've done so far. All right. So, there we go. Be perfect. And okay, lovely. I'm just going to get you to focus a little bit more. So this is sort of a choral thing, but also theater as well. When in choir, where should you sing to? Everyone point to where you should sing to. Where are you singing to in choir? Just point, everyone. Go. 1, 2, 3, point. Come on. Nice. Right? Over there, over there. Where are you singing to? Sorry? Chords. Yes and no. Yes and no. Where I'd like you to sing, where I'd like you to sing to, is over here. Right? Everyone know the story of William Tell? Right? That's what you're shooting for. Not my head. Pretend this is an apple. I'm talking a lot of apples today. I don't usually do that. Here we go. So this is where you're aiming for. Everyone aim for here. Try to see if there's a difference in sound. Just double check. Okay. Good pitch. Ooh, sorry, my fault. My fault. So breathing. Remember, we're breathing out first. So breathing out. Don't forget the last note. Did you guys hear a difference? Yes, no? Okay. Because that's the most important thing, right? It's not about me, it's about you. If something I tell you doesn't work for you, fine, right? The voice is something very personal. It may work for you, it may not work for you. It may work for you 5 years down the line. And you might remember, oh, who's that crazy guy who kept on going on about apples? Oh yeah, I get it now, right? It might not work immediately. So, this is the problem with me. I tell jokes and then I forget where I was about to say. Oh, theater. Theater, same sort of thing. We have to find a focal point, right, for the sound to go to. And generally, the focal point in a theater, if you're on stage, is going to be kind of like the sound booth area. So if I go on stage here, I hope I'm not going to cause feedback. Yeah, so it'll be, if I was here, I'd sing just above the clock, right? And hopefully, if I sing there, you can feel I'm staring out into the audience, right? Far more so than if I actually look at you directly, right? I don't know. But that's where we kind of try to focus, is sort of above horizon, about 10 degrees, thereabouts. For me, it's about where the clock is. So if I was in theater, then I would sort of go onto the stage and go, okay, that's my target. That's where I'm always going to sing. It's generally going to be like in the middle, sideways, right? Of the audience. You don't want to be singing to one side of the audience or another unless the direction tells you to for whatever reason. But that's our neutral point. In choir, it's always going to be just above the choir director's head. And all the sound coming in, you can sort of think of it like light source coming in and then sort of going through the director and out into the audience, right? Okay, let's stand and do that while standing. So now a few more posture things now that we're standing. I'm going to go up one. So first of all, just make sure our upper body is fine. So let's do this together. Shoulders up, back. Now, feel that chest widen as you did that. Now, keeping that chest nice and wide, we're just going to relax the shoulders a little bit so that they drop down naturally. But that chest is still wide. Please, it's not overextension, right? Okay. That's a chicken. Anyways, some jokes work, some jokes don't. All right, so that's what we do. Head, nice and elongated. If you wear glasses, that's great. You kind of want to be like, imagine there's a line just about the middle of your glasses, and you want to imagine the sound going above that line kind of thing. Imagine, I say. It's weird how these things help us. Okay, so we've sorted that out. Feet. Can we move side to side? Now, try to put one foot, doesn't matter which one, slightly ahead of the other. Slightly, so maybe an inch only. Okay. And feel, is that more secure? Yeah, hopefully it is, compared to just flat on. You don't have the same degree of movement as well when it's flat on. Just slightly one foot ahead of the other. All right. And if your choir is on risers, typically what I get them to do is, for those of you, I'll go up. Typically, my forward foot is just off the riser. About 2 inches or something. It's like the ball of my foot is on the edge almost. So I can just feel where that is. And also for those of you who know, on risers, if you step back onto the risers, then the next row steps back even further, then the next row steps back, and then they're off the back of the riser. right? So it's always good to just step slightly forward of the riser, and then that gives everyone enough room. And also, then you're ready. All right. Again, theater, you've got to think about what you're doing. But again, these are the neutral positions, right? Our base upon which we create good sound. And then if we need to adjust accordingly for whatever situation, we adjust. All right. But it's important to know that basic place. So when I'm doing like show choir kind of thing, we're emoting, we're moving, we're doing all of this thing. But every time we take a breath, it's like reset. Yeah, reset, and then continue doing our thing again, but making sure, how are we standing? Is my chest wide? Is my neck elongated? It's almost like having a checklist that I run through each time I reset, and until it becomes natural, and you won't do anything else because that's just your position, right? Okay, so feet one slightly ahead of the other, okay? Knees unlocked, right? For those of you who want to practice, you should be able to do this where the shoulders don't move, right? It's all about keeping the top, and then your legs can do whatever, right? All right, so I'm having too much fun up here. You guys should join me. All right, so knees unlocked, hips just slightly rotated forward, so that it's sort of trying to get the spine in alignment, right? Imagine you have got a string here. If you've got long hair, I suppose you could pull it. And then imagine you're kind of like a puppet and you're just being held up just ever so slightly by the string, right? Coming up to the top of your head. And that's kind of what we want to have, all right? Oh, my fault, my fault, my fault. Breathe out. Here we go. And so one breathe out, breathe in, okay? No, that's not. 1, 2, breathe out, breathe in, and then this starts on the downbeat. So 1, 2, breathe out. Here. Good. Some of it wasn't too supported in the sense that, especially wide, all around the wide world is what I hear. All around the wide world. So you're not saying wide world, you're saying wa world, right? Wa world. Okay, so that's how you connect as well. Whenever, if you hear something being really choppy, it's usually because the consonants aren't together. So we've got to think of each word as generally, right? Starts with a consonant. We have our target vowel, the vowel that you hold. And at the end, we either have a diphthong, which is when you turn the vowel. So something like far, right? Far. You won't go far, right? How have you been? Right? You say, how have you been? Right? So it's about holding the target vowel as long as you can. Then the consonant is just enough for dictation. Not dictation, for diction, right? Those are two very different things. It's your exam time as well, right? I shouldn't give you extra stress. Diction, right? So enough for diction. And that's all we need, right? The rest of it, the thing that sounds is the vowel, right? You can sing you can sing you can sing the L sound. You can sing a z, you can sing a z, right? You can do Yeah, that's about it. And then you can't do D's, T's, B's, right? You could do V's. V. So sometimes we actually substitute some of these singable ones for the non-singable consonants. And the Americans actually do quite a good job of that because they also get a little bit lazy with their consonants. But it actually works for singing purposes, right? Okay. Oh, remember to hold those vowels. Check the posture. Remember to breathe out before breathing in. Remember to sing to the end of the phrase with a well-supported sound. I'm going to add one more thing. Orange is fine. We've departed from apple. Imagine you've got a small orange and you're greedy because you're about 5 and you go like, right? Everyone take your imaginary orange. Everyone. Don't worry, I'm not looking. I won't judge how big or small your imaginary orange is. All right? And all I want you to do is pop the whole thing into your mouth and feel how full that mouth feels. Okay, here we go. And a lot of space in there. Right? All around the world. Instead of all around the world. What's happening there is I'm creating more resonance by getting more space. If you want to get technical, it's called the soft palate. If you want to feel where the soft palate is, take your tongue, touch it to the roof of your mouth, it's hard. Yeah? There's some little weird ridges. And if you pull it back, there comes a part where it becomes fleshy. And if you imagine eating that orange, you can pull that bit up to the point that your tongue can't touch the roof of it anymore. Yes? That's the soft palate. That's the bit you felt move, hopefully, when you swallowed your orange. Don't choke. I always say to my kids in school, don't die in my class. It's a lot of paperwork. Do it outside, please. All right, so that's the soft palate. That's what we want to activate when we want to get more resonant sound. Because as you know, you go into a cave, you go into your toilet. Why do we like singing in the bathroom when we're showering? Because we sound amazing, right? Why? Because all of a sudden we've got all this extra space that bounces sound all about. We can create that extra space in our mouth before it even comes out. So imagine if you're doing that in the bathroom. Okay, that one didn't land. Okay, here we go though. Posture, breath, orange in the mouth. I used to say egg, but then I suppose there's some vegetarians here, right? All right, here we go. So 1, 2, out and in. 1, 2, 4. Here, be the best version of yourself. Sing to the end. Good. Now, in all vocal music, I think we've reached a stage. I'm going through these very quickly, right? I know that you guys aren't really feeling up to asking questions. I'll probably be bombarded with questions afterwards, though. All right, but feel free just to go and ask a question, right? I don't bite anything other than imaginary oranges. Okay, so there's another joke which made me lose my thread of thought. Here we go. So all around the world. So blend. Whoever was singing the melody, let's just hear that melody again. Oh, here we go. And my fault. Let's breathe out properly. Here we go. 1, 2, out. I think we could do better than that, right? It's available, right? Give your very best. One more thing is I'm hearing, and this isn't just directed to whoever's singing melody. I'm just picking to talk about it now. I'm hearing this. All around that little, right? So as you breathe or as you let the air come in, right, it should be relaxed, right? And you're preparing for singing by already going, there's the shape of the vowel that I'm going to start singing in. It's not going to be out in, oh, too late, right? So out, breathe in through your target vowel and, oh, here we go, 1, 2, out. Much better. Are you singing here? Okay, so two things. The last all, a few of you went all around. So remember, you should be out so that your breath becomes natural and you breathe through the all vowel for this, right? And the world at the very end was not held long enough, right? It was, oh, we're at the end, we can relax. But good. Basses, whoever's doing the bass part, you just heard that sound. Your job is to live within that sound. All right? Use your ears. Live within that sound. Support it. You're the foundation. Right? Let's just get the, I'll call them sopranos rather than melody, just to keep things clear. Sopranos, let's just hear the first phrase again. So 1, 2. Okay, so basses live within that sound. Oh, sorry, this is one thing. I've been adjudicating some singers virtually, right? And the bass singers, I would say 90% of them, I type the same comment. Sing like a singer, don't sing like a bass. Because guys like that, right? All around the world, all around the world. Oh. Why? You're good enough as a singer. Why do you need to be a bass? You're already a bass, right? Your voice naturally goes down there. We don't need to see you trying to reach those low notes. Same thing for tenors. We don't need to see you reaching for those top notes. Let it happen naturally, right? So basses live within the soprano sound. Be singers, not basses. Here we go and now everyone's afraid because the basses are like, oh, we mustn't overtake the sopranos. And the sopranos are like, what are the basses doing? Right? Sopranos, you've got the lead on this. Here we go and remember last word? Good. Just a little bit more D at the end. All around the wide world. Right? Almost a half D, half T. Altos with that sound. You've just heard the two of them. Sounds pretty good, right? So again, live within that sound and make it sound better. Here we go. You might even want to close your eyes. Okay, tenors. Let's come in and just fill in. We've got this cake, right? It's like we've got the two layers, we've got the icing on top. Be the jam in the middle. Just fill it out. Here we go. And good. A very nice choral sound. Let's change this up. Not on my notes, but I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. All around the world is what I'm hearing. Everyone say this. Holy moly. Everyone say this. Holy moly. There's a very dark sound. You might even feel like, oh, there's the back of my throat here. Right? Oh. Right? Now, I want you to do this. That's not nice. Here we go. So, well, I want you to go from all right. Here you go. And okay. Now, one thing to be careful of is that your ah doesn't become an o, right? It doesn't go. It's not that. It's still getting the ah, right? Here we go, and all right. Now, right now we're about neutral, right? All around the world. Now I want you to just tilt it slightly forwards, right? So it's instead of it's not nasal. If you hear yourself being nasally or you want to check if you're nasal, this is how you do it. No change in sound. If there is nasal, right? Just check, right? All around the world, if you need to, just hold your hand up here and sing to that hand, right? Where is it? It's slightly above my eye level and it's right in front of me. Here we go, and oh. Okay, very good. Hopefully you heard the difference, but when on the last note, all around the wide world. What happened there? Let's just try the last phrase. All around the wide, all around the wide, all around the wide world out of. Right, here we go, and. Okay, and just to do something, we're going to do a swell at the very end. All around the wide world. So it's almost like, there it is. We're secure. We're just going to give it a little bit more support through using our muscles down here. Here we all around. Yeah, sing all around. Here we go, and. Right, and then all of a sudden we've got like some destination for that last note to go for, instead of just, all around the wide world, is it time yet for me to go on break? Speaking of which, is it time? All right, so all of these things, let's recap, because we've gone through a lot. Posture, breath, vowels, and then a lot of other stuff, right? This thing we call placement. We talked about resonance by having the tangerine in the mouth, orange in the mouth. Gotta stop swapping my fruits around. All right. Talking about vowels. Okay, cool. Let's do a quick game. You can sit for this. And it's always fun to do this in a group setting. You can't do this one on your own. All right. So internal pulse is so important, right? Especially if you don't have a conductor up front. You've got to just rely on your internal pulse, that you're not getting faster, slower, etc., etc., etc. Oh, sorry. Let's go back slightly. I was about to talk about this one. Go back slightly. Darker vowels, that sort of more backwards placement, that more neutral sound that you came up with, perfect for churches, right? Perfect for choral stuff. The more forward stuff is for more theater, right? What was the song that was sung yesterday? The last song that I coached yesterday? Almost like being in love. I felt that. What a day. Ooh. Can I have no mic? No mic? No mic for now. What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Sorry, I just coached this yesterday, so I didn't have it perfectly memorized. Off. Off for the mic. Sort of more operatic sound in it, but it's not the same. So we tend to have a placement difference when we're sort of talking about theater and choral singing. Depends the type of choral singing you're doing. Something more American might require you to have a slightly more forward placement. Spirituals, slightly further back than neutral. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Right? You won't go tell it on the mountain. Sounds odd, right? Even the neutral. Go tell it on the mountain. So you've got to play around with these different placements and figure out which one best suits the song that you're doing. Spirituals tends to be more backwards. The vowels or seems to be more darker. Musical theater, brighter. Choral, slightly neutral, but maybe slightly towards the darker, slightly towards the brighter, depending on what the song needs. All right, so back to what I wanted to say before I remember that point. Internal pulse. Everyone's hands. If you're happy and you know it, no. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to count to 4, and we're going to clap on 1. All right? And then you're going to clap on every single one. Simple, right? But then I'm going to stop counting. And then you have to still continue. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Better. Don't anticipate it. Ooh, that's early. Already, you're out of sync with me, and I'm still conducting, right? So, hold on. When a conductor conducts, I don't know if you notice, there's a point called the ictus, Latin. Don't know what it means. But essentially, that's where the point where we bounce, and that's where the beat is. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so I'll show you the ictus to help you. Here we go. 2, 3, and. Ooh, some people are early. Better. That was very early, wasn't it? I was around there and I heard the clap and then. So look here. Here we go. 3 and. There we go. Ooh. Now, what does that tell you about your internal pulse? I haven't even stopped conducting, right? Now, I realized that I wasn't perfect because as you guys sped up, my natural instinct is to catch up with you guys, right? And speed up as well. And I had to hold myself back. So, actually, I say you can't do this at home. You could, kind of, right? If you've got a watch with a second hand, right? How long does it reach to 10 seconds? How long would it take to reach 5 seconds, right? It will be like, look at it. When it reaches 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 2, 3, 10, 15, okay? So on and so forth. This is a digital watch without a second. All right, but you could do that, right? So at least you've got 60 beats a minute, right? That you can practice with. But it's important to keep that internal pulse, right? Don't always trust in the conductor. I take that back. The conductor is always right. There's a story of a director, a rehearsal, and then behind the director is this banner that says, "Music is not a democracy." Yeah, listen to your director, but it's important to keep that internal pulse within you as well, right? So that if for whatever reason you're lost or something, you can quickly find where you are. And it's also important if you've got more complex pieces where you've got to subdivide beats, things like that, right? So I think practice a little bit more on that. Okay, time. 1.5 hours. I don't want to do that yet. Okay. Let's do this. Yeah. Lu 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 lu. Probably my most favorite game ever. The ones who have been with me before know what you're in for. Don't give it away. Right? So repeat after me. Lu 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 lu. Lu 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 lu. Lu 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 lu. Everyone say zoo. Lu 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 lu. Okay, cool. So don't say the zoo, but imagine the zoo. So you get the lu loo instead of a loo 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 loo. The whole thing. Loo 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 loo. Here we go and loo 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 loo. Don't speed up, you would hate yourself for it later. Right? Just one more time so you've got the melody in your head. Here we go and loo 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 loo. Very talented group. I'm sure you're talented enough to count up to 5 as well. The words are very simple. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Basically, you go from 1, you count up to 5. When you get up to 5, you go back to 1. Simple rules. Count up to 5. When you reach 5, go back to 1. Right? Here we go and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe not talented enough to count up to 5. Also, theater works great when you're teaching, right? A bit of humor, right? Look at the way I'm standing. Is this natural? No, because it makes me look like Mr. Bean and it makes me look like more approachable, right? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. After 4 comes 5. Here we go and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. And you've done the whole song. Okay. Homework, practice, right? Let's make it a little bit more difficult. I'm wondering how little my little is. Let's stand. Music is a, what's the quote again? Music is not an observer sport, right? You actually have to participate. So all you've got to do is this. Every time you say 3, you've just got to stomp your foot. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. And 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting how throwing one thing in there really makes your brain think, right? Let's try that one more time. Here we go. And 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now, next step, stomp, but don't sing the 3. 1, 2, 4, 5, here we go, and 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1. Now, I'm going to pause there. Now, a lot of you are going like, oh God, oh God, oh God, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Of course, if you keep on doing that, what are you going to do? You're going to probably go 3. Oh no. Right? Also, I'm going to come up here a bit. Right? It's music, right? And even in choirs, right? You're stood in rows and whatever, but you've still got that ability to move, right? 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2. Right? Make a little dance out of it. I also did tap dance. It's fun. But yeah, do something with your feet. Move, right? Isn't the music supposed to move you? If the music doesn't move you, how do you think it's going to move your audience? Right? Going back, believability. If you don't believe it yourself and it's static for you, there's no one out there that's going to insert that believability for you, right? Here we go. 1, 2. I'm going to come down because I'd hurt myself. Here we go. And 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2. 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5. Fun, isn't it? Right? And it's only fun if you let yourself have fun. Right? If you're going like, oh God, free, stop. You're not having fun. It's fine to make mistakes. No one's going to like get hurt because you sang free instead of not singing free. Right? This is where we can play, right? It's called playing music for a reason. It's not practice music, right? It's playing music. So let's play. Right, so feet, So did you guys notice? You guys were much more secure when the 3 was on the beat, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, easy. 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5. All of a sudden, it's a bit off. But then this sort of exercise is great for feeling those syncopations, right? Going into a church setting, those spirituals, right? Theater setting, jazz is all about those, right? I got rhythm, I got music, I got my man who could ask for anything more, right? All of those, I got da 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 dee da ba da 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 dum ba da dum dum, right? So you've got to have that feel, and if you don't move yourself, you're not going to move the audience, right? If you don't believe it yourself, you're not going to convince your audience. Okay. I think it is a good time for you to walk around for 5 minutes, thereabouts, shake it off, right? And then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about compositional stuff, right? So it is now 37. So let's say 43, 6 minutes, because I'm nice like that. All right. So just shake it out. All right. Okay. I've drawn up some scales here. Hopefully we're all familiar, right? Mm, Do. Let's just try to sing that. Do, here we go, and do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, and let's not forget everything from the first session. Let's just check our posture, and let's make sure these are good vowels. So it's not do, re, mi, right? It's do, re, mi, fa. Does anyone know where this came from? No? It actually comes from church. There's a chant that every phrase starts on the rising scale, and so they took the first letter or the first syllable of each. So do, right? Dominus, right? I'm sure you're all familiar with that, right? I can't really remember what re was, but it was each single syllable of each phrase. Originally, there were only 6. Then kind of T came in, which is why we kind of, some cultures called it C. I prefer T because then I can write only one letter. All right. So actually, this says it's roots based in Christianity with this chant and basically, yeah, the first line of each, the first syllable of each phrase happens to be the rising scale. Anyways, let's just try that again. Here we go. And do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, la, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Here we go, and do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Here we go, and do, re, mi. Cool. Now this time, well done for following my unspoken directions, right? So do re mi fa sol la ti do ti la sol fa mi re do. 2 beats after. Here we go, and do re do. Oh, sorry. Let's do that one more time. And do re. Ti la. Okay, so don't stop at the top. Did I mess things up? Do re mi fa sol la ti. Okay, done that. All right. Let's do. Do re do re do re. Here we go, and do re do. Oh, I lost count. But cool. What did we just sing? What did we just sing? What did we create? We sang scales, but what did we create together? What type of harmony? In particular, it's we're looking for a word beginning with T or C. Canon, it is canon, but we are creating guitarists. This is your time to shine. Chords, right? Or to be more precise, triads through the use of canon. Right? We are saying basically do, mi, so, re, fa, la, mi, so, ti, fa, la, do, so, ti, re, do. And then we didn't go up to the top, right? Sorry, I move about a lot. When I studied conducting, right, the one of my mentors actually knelt down behind me and grabbed my legs to stop me from moving. I've got to remember not to do that. All right, so we're doing triads, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But then if we just skip them a beat, right? So we get our triads, right? Do, mi, so, re, fa, la. Let's just sing that, right? So here we go, and do, mi, so, re, fa, la. And now we're going to experience it going up and down. So do, mi, so, mi, do, re, fa, la, fa, re. Here we go. And do, mi, so, mi, do, re, fa, la, fa, re. Mi, so, ti, so, mi. Fa, la, do, la, fa. So, ti, re, ti, so. La, do, mi, do, la, last one. Ti, re, fa, re, ti, do. Let's not do do, mi, so. It's the same as the first one. But let's end on a do because, unresolved chords. I had a university professor who would do that to us. He would just play a chord and like a dominant seventh chord and wait for us to cringe and like shift in our seats and then like, bam, perfect cadence. Thank you very much. All is well with the world again when we get resolution in music. All right. So this is what we call the chord chart. Okay. Do, mi, so, mi, do, re, fa, la, fa, re. And of course, we're not just singing these now, we're thinking harmony as well. And of course, doing these sorts of exercises helps us with our inner ear as well, with sight singing, sight reading. Even if you're an instrumentalist, right? You should be able to look at a piece of music, find out where do is, and then get some sense of what it sounds like without needing an instrument. An instrument is a tool, right? That's what the word means. It's a tool, right? How many of you have picked up a, hang on, let me, how many of you have picked up a book, looked at it, typed it into Google, and then go, Google, pronounce this for me. Read me the whole book, because I can't tell what it says without your help. Right? And it's the same with music. Why do we need instruments to give us this idea of what it sounds like? We should be able to do it because why? The music is here. The music is here. Music is a human construct, right? It's just vibrations in the air. It's until our brain interprets it that it becomes music, right? Just like what we see, it's light waves. Until we interpret it, they're just light waves. So we should be able to look at a piece of music and do something like this. All right, so let's go back to the chord chart before we do more sight singing stuff. Chord chart. So we just sung it, but now it has no meaning. So this time we're just going to sing and then we're going to label. So what do I mean by that? Do, mi, so, mi, do, 1. Major or minor? Major. Major, re, fa, la, fa, re, 2. Minor, mi, so, ti. And I'm not just singing it, I'm thinking, mi, so, ti. How does that feel like? Right? But I'm sort of not just sorry, my fault for using the wrong word. How does that experience in terms of the physiology of your vocal cords, right? How does it feel in terms of the intervals? Do we know the intervals, by the way? Re and fa is what type of third? Major or minor third? Re and fa is a minor third, followed by a fa and la is a major third. So a minor triad is a minor third plus a major third. A major triad is a major third plus a minor. So as we're singing these, feel what a major third feels like. Do, mi versus so, mi, do. That's what a major chord sounds like. Unfortunately, we can't sing more than one note at once, right? So do, mi, so, mi, do, re, fa, one major, re, fa, la, fa, re, two, but also thinking, this is what a minor chord feels like, right? Or sounds like, I should say. This is what a minor chord would sound like if it was broken up. And hopefully, if you do enough of this, you would hear a chord and you'd be able to break it down in your head, and then you'd go, da, 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 that's a minor triad, right? But it comes from practice. So let's try that. Do, mi, so, here we go. And do, mi, so, mi, do, one major, re, fa, la, fa, re, two minor. Sing the two minor with me. And mi, so, ti, so, mi, three minor. Fa, la, do, la, fa, four major. So, ti, re, ti, so, five. We're not very sure. Five major. So this is where you would need to hear it. So, ti, re, ti, so, five major. Listen to how bright that so, ti, re, ti, so is versus the la, do, mi, do, la minor, right? Then the last one, which no one talks about. What's that? T is ti, re, fa. Is what type of triad? Diminished, right? So we have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Back to one. Here, let's go. Do, fa. Here we go. And fa, la, do, la, fa, four major. So, ti, re. Oh, so, ti. Here, the T is all tends to be flat, okay? So be very careful here. So T, here we go, and so Ti, re, ti, so, five major, la, do, mi, do, la, six minor, ti, re, fa, re, ti, seven diminished, do, right? And you would practice this. If you really wanted to, I'll tell you, I don't expect you to do this, but when we, do we know inversions, 153, 163, 164? Is that new to you? It's new to you? Okay, I won't go there then, because that would be too much. So just try to recognize these triads and what they sound like, right? Do, mi, so, mi, do, re, fa, la, fa, re, mi, so, ti, so, mi, fa, la, do, la, fa. And of course, over here, what do I have in blue? Anyone know? Minor, right? So major is based on do, minor. If in this system, you may be used to a different system. This is what we call the movable do system, where do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Here we go. Up and down the scale, here we go. And la, ti, do. Ooh, we have some people trying to be basses. La, ti, do, la, ti, do. Remember these cheeks? Here we go. And la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Now, it's always easy going up, going la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. It was so low, my pen cap dropped. And it's gone. Oh, no, there it is. Oop. All right, so la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Still think high. Here we go. La and la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Okay, and you notice the more you relax, the more you lift this, the more you think it's just a nice note, the more it will project. Yeah, and the less constricted it is. Okay, just for completeness sake, let's do the minor chord chart. So we'll go like this. La, do, mi, do, la, 1 minor, ti, re, fa, re, ti, 2 diminished, so on and so forth. Here we go. And la, do, mi, do, la, 1 minor, ti, re, fa, re, ti, 2 diminished, do, mi, sol, mi, do. It's so bright. What? 3 major, re, fa, la, fa, re, 4 minor, mi, sol, ti, sol. Ooh, mi, sol, ti. The moment you get lazy, that T, mi, sol, ti. Here we go. And mi, sol, ti, sol, mi, 5 minor, fa, la, do, la, fa, 6 major, sol, ti, re, ti, sol, 7 major, la. Right? So those are the minor and major triads. We know this is the natural minor for those of you in the know. You know maybe that the minor, we have different versions of the minor. Let's not get into that because then you would have something like C where you get a sharp sol, right? So it'd be la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, si, la. The reason why they did it because they want that ti, do, si, la kind of sound, right? So it leads into the tonic, leads back home. But of course, that makes a huge mess for everything else because it would be la, do, mi, do, la, ti, re, fa, re, ti, do, mi, si, mi, do. Let's not go there yet. Okay. So we've got some chords. Now, let's talk a little bit about mood of these triads. Sorry, is the piano on? Should be on, okay. Everyone says, a lot, oh well, not everyone, but a lot of people say, major, happy. Minor. Nice. Sad. Not quite true. Not quite anymore. A lot of what comes to us as mood is actually something which we call enculturation, right? So basically, it's what you grew up with, right? What makes us eat with a fork in our right hand, fork in our left hand and a knife in our right instead of the other way around, right? What makes us wear our watch on our left hand? This is all part of culture, and we just take it because it's just the way it's always been. And in our culture, this is just the way it is. Major, happy. Minor, sad. But in other cultures, that might not be the case. And you should know this as well because you are recipients of more than one culture, right? So you should know that there are some rags out there that maybe sound a little bit more minor. Again, I'm not going to use the word minor, but they sound to maybe a Western ear more minor, but it may not be sad, right? The music from Israel, right? Klezmer, a lot of it is minor because that's just the modes that they, oh, sorry, I shouldn't use, but the scale that they use over in East Europe, Russia. All of those tend to feel more minor to our ears, but it's not sad by any means, right? La 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 da 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 ba da 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 dee, da da da. Have we heard that Israel melody? Anyone? No? Okay, fine. But these have sort of dance character to them. And it's important to disassociate ourselves with the feeling of this dichotomy of major is happy, minor is sad. Because there are times, yes, you might say, most of the time minor is sad, most of the time major is happy, sure. But it's important not to make those immediate distinctions. Major, however, tends not to be used for sad. I think it's harder to do it that way. But as you heard with minor, as long as we speed it up, give it a little groove, right? Bit of a drum, bit of a clarinet or a violin playing over the top, especially in klezmer, Israel music, Hebrew music, I should say. Then you get this sort of dance feel. Any one of you old enough to play Tetris on the Game Boy? I'm showing my age here. Da 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 dee da dum bum ba da da. Right? That Russian folk tune. Da 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 dee da dum ba da dee dee da dum bum ba dum ba. Minor, but at the same time very happy. So a lot of this stuff about mood comes from culture, right? When am I happiest? I'm happiest when I hear musical theater, when I hear jazz, when I hear chords in tune. That's the type of person I am. I know chords in tune, not just any chords. But I've got a friend, Greek, right? And I was telling her that, oh, tap dance, jazz, tap dance music, that just puts a smile on my face immediately. I can't help myself. And she's like, really? It's just like noise, right? It's just like noise. But she says, Greek folk music, right? Da-dum, da-dum. You all know that? And it all speeds up, right? And it's this sort of circle dancing kind of thing, right? That puts a smile on her face. So it's important to realize when we're talking about mood in composition, who the audience is, right? What their culture is, what is your culture, right? And this comes down to communication. So sometimes what works for you, what is apparent to you might not be apparent to someone else, right? Anyone here heard Mongolian throat singing? Anyone? Right, that's our, oh gosh, I think mic off for this. The mic off. Right, so Mongolian throat singing more. Yeah, sorry. Long. Gotta get into it. Oh no, that's us Alaskan throat singing. Gotta get my places right. So that sort of sound to you means absolutely nothing, right? Although if you listen out, can anyone hear like a whistle at the very top? I don't know how well it's. Try to see what I'm singing. Anyone get the tune? Kind of? Yes, a few nods. If you can't hear it, that's fine. I'll sing it once. I'll just do the first phrase. Da da dee da da. But you're listening up way, way, way up high. Hopefully someone of you heard it when I'm sort of signing. If you don't, that's fine, training. Right? But this is all parts of enculturation, right? I can't do what the Mongols do, and nor should I really, unless I study with them. But I can do a little bit of their technique. But if I didn't tell you what it was, it means nothing for you, right? So we've got to be very careful about that. But going into our Western system, sorry, I'm going to have to come down again. Going into our Western system, we essentially have two things that we use to encapsulate mood or help us transmit mood. And rather than thinking about emotions, we tend to think about brightness and darkness. So, of course, major scale is going to be brighter or darker than the minor. Major is brighter or darker than the minor. Brighter, right? But we can make this even brighter still. And this is where we've got what we call the church modes or the Greek modes. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you may not. All right, but essentially we come to these modes, and that it's a type of scale, through playing the white keys of a keyboard. Imagine you had no black keys. And so you play, well, we all know this one, right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? First piano lesson, do, 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 or even before the first piano lesson. Or was that? That was me at my grandma's place, right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, D, sorry, C, B, A, B, C, D, E, ooh, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A for our minor. But if we move to other starting points, so we've already had C to C, A to A, we've got other starting points, right? We could start on, someone give me a letter, please. A? Oh, sorry, besides A and C. F. F. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F. Right? So what happened? Da, 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 da. So instead of do, re, mi, fa, sol, we have do, re, mi, mi, sol. We sharpen the fourth note. That's F to F. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. I'm gonna not go up to the piano, take my word for it. If you want to try it at home, play on your piano, right? So we have this. Do, re, mi. Let's start on C. Ba-bum. Do, re, mi, fi, sol, la, ti, do. Here we go, everyone together. And do, re, mi, fi. Let's tune that right. Do, re, mi, fi, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fi, mi, re, do. So, do, re, mi, fi, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Which one is brighter? This side or this side? Point. Your right side. Yes. This side is brighter, right? Because we've sharpened something. I'm just going to give you the names of these. Oh no, I'm going to mess up, aren't I? No, I'm not. Uh-oh. Lydian mode, am I correct? Yes. Whew. Just for a brief moment, I doubted myself. So we've got do, re, mi, fi, sol, la, ti, do. The names, basically, they're Greek cities, I'm told, and someone just picked them at random. It's not like, oh, in the city of Lydia, they started singing like this. No, right? Someone just went and just went, okay, we'll call this Lydian. All right. Someone give me another note to start on. Oh gosh. Let's leave B to the very end. Let's not talk about B. G, okay. So, oh gosh, which G should I take? G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Do, 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 do. And you can hopefully hear the note that was changed was this last one, right? Da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 da. I like using colors. Right? For all you visual learners out there, green is sharp, red is going to be flat. So this is going to be darker. Right? Another letter just, oh, name. Mixolydian. That's why I get them confused. And I always just double check myself just to make sure I don't get those two confused. Mixo is the flat one. All right, so another note to start off with, we've said we're going to ignore B for now. We've done C, we've done A, we've done F, and we've done G. D. You know this, right? Okay, so D. D, E, F, D, E, F, G, da, 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 D, E, F, G, A, B, da, D. Hold on, let me get this note again. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D. So you can hear from the first three notes, this is a minor based mode. D, F, right? La, ti, do, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. No. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So what do we have? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da da da. That's what we have. So again, the fa becomes a C. So that's all we need to remember in the modes. We just got to think about them as either major or a minor mode, and whether we sharpen the phi, the fa to a phi, or flatten the T to a ta. I'm giving the game away, but we'll sing that later. This is Dorian, and this one is Phrygian. These are just names. If you forget about them, it doesn't matter, right? They're just names, right? Shakespeare, a rose by any other name would spell air so sweet, something like that, right? So these are just names. If you forget them, it doesn't matter, but it's good to know them. So that leaves us with our two. This is Ionian and Aeolian. All right. And basically, we have a scale. To bright. So not the best, but we'll just take a song and do some sight singing. Here we go. Do, here we go, and if we wanted a brighter version of that, do, do, so, so, la, so, fi, fi, mi, re, do. Right? If we wanted the minor version of that, same thing. La, do, mi, do, la, here we go. La, la, mi, fa, right? Here we go, and. La, la, mi, fa, fa, mi, re, do, si, la. Slightly brighter than that. La, la, mi, fi, mi, re, do, si, la. Right? So we have this sort of scale on which you could place your melody. And this brings us to the idea of motifs, right? Or motives in music. So one of the great ways that was, it wasn't new, but kind of Wagner was the guy who really used it in his works, was this idea of a motif representing something, right? So that in the music, it became like, some people call it like the calling card, right? So every single character has this motive, right? So such and such character would have a motive. The staff, which was integral to this story, had a motive. So every time, or as these characters or these things were introduced, that music would play. And then whenever Wagner wanted you to think about those things, even if they weren't on stage, then he would reintroduce that motive. But also what you could do is, if you want to distort that motive, then you could put that motive into one of our modes, right? So you want to make it so that it's brighter. It was in major earlier, just turn it into Lydian. Now, there are much more than just these modes, but these are the basic church modes. And if you go on internet and you look for modes and all that, they would go into like super Lydian and like all of these weird and crazy stuff. But this is the basics, right? So if you want to do something, is first of all, I say like I actually do this as a unit with my kids, and of course, this is nothing new to you guys. All of you who have watched a Marvel movie would know the idea of a motif, right? Just before the superhero comes, you know when it is. The Joker was that, I think it was just like a fourth or something like that, and it just kept on coming in. So there are things that the composer wants you to hear again and again. And because you hear it again and again, you will start associating. You get encultured, essentially. And then once that teaching has been done, essentially that's what it is. They're training you. They're teaching you. This is what I mean by this sound. Then you can start communicating. So when you're composing, start thinking about what you use. It could be a melody that you create. So start thinking about the character or thing you're going to represent. I get my kids to sort of brainstorm like the character traits. Okay, he's brave, she's brave. So what might the music sound like? What instruments would I use for that? Right? Okay, you're going to use the trumpet. Is it going to be high in the trumpet? Is it going to be low? What would it sound in the middle? Right? And then this is sort of where, from these ideas, we start thinking about what we want to represent and how best to represent it using the elements of music, right? So we already talked about like how high or low it might be in the instruments range. Rhythm, is it going to have a slow rhythm, a fast rhythm, right? Is it going to be in a major key or a minor key? Tempo, you can always change, right? And then we talked about instruments as well. So all these things start to come together to form the idea of a theme. Sorry, a motive. And then from that motive, you bring it out into a theme. So I teach this in sort of movie music kind of thing. So if we think about Star Wars, that first phrase, the motive is actually that's pretty much it. But then it gets spun out into a theme. Are we in minor or major? Minor, right? Mi la si do re do mi la si do la do da 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 mi re. And then here, you don't hear it, but you hear it slightly brighter and in our heads because we know this theme so well. But actually what John Williams does there, where it's brighter, he introduces a sharp, and he uses the Dorian mode in the harmony. Anyways, so this, from this very humble beginning, essentially is the theme, the motive, da 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 da. Da 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 dee da. Ba da 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 dee da 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 dee da da bum bum. In this short theme, we've heard the motive 3 times already. And then how many times throughout the movie do you think John Williams just comes in with ba da dee da da dum? And you immediately think, oh, Luke, or oh, the Force. Right? So this is kind of the thing that we do in terms of theater, movies, to kind of get people to know what we're trying to say. We find something to characterize, and then we come up with a motive. Then we spin that out into a theme, right? Usually by starting each phrase with the motive. It's a technique called Fortspinnung, German. So you could look that up and see much more examples, but that's one of those. Okay, so again, mi la si do re do mi. If I was to make that major, so do re mi fa mi, right? Still recognizable, but all of a sudden it's a lot brighter. Notice I'm not saying happier. Okay, but it's brighter. It may be happier, but it's bright, definitely brighter. So it depends what you want to do with it. But this is a great way to kind of think about setting up themes if you're composing and then turning them into brighter or darker sounds. Okay, so I kind of touched on it a little bit. Enculturation, modes, motifs, good. So we'll talk a little bit about orchestration and instrumentation. So first of all, you've got to know your instruments, right? What does a trumpet sound like in its higher range? Can a trumpet in its higher range play soft? The answer is no. So don't give a trumpet like super high stuff and then tell them to play this piano, please, nice and delicate. They'll just blast your ears off. Of course, for those who are in the know, the joke is, of course, brass instruments don't have any, well, they have 3 dynamics, right? Brass instruments, loud, very loud, super loud. Right? So you've got to know your instruments. What does it sound like? Right? And usually, in its different ranges, it would sound slightly different. Right? Even on a piano. Right? I'm going to jump up. Sorry, cameraman. So if I play this, my favorite piece, oops, and on piano, here we go. But if I take it out here, sounds different. Right? So even on a piano, the register that you use makes a whole lot of difference. So if I did the same thing, but like separated it out, it's almost like 2 different instruments all of a sudden, right? So the first thing you've got to do when you think about instrumentation is know your instruments. Obviously, you can't play everything, right? So this is where we've got to have some good resources, and this is a book that I would strongly encourage you to look out for. It's a small book. It's called The Essential Dictionary of Orchestration. I've just flipped, and I've got the horns. So horns in F. Written range, practical range, right? Sounding range, because it's a transposing instrument, which means that they're weird, and when they play C, you don't hear C. We'll go into that another time. All right. High horn ranges, high and low horn ranges, tonal and dynamic qualities, low register. In this register, the tone quality lacks focus, is tuba-like, unsolid, and quite dark. The subdued tone is more apt to provide a supportive presence than a confident tone. Projection is poor, and intonation problems are more likely to be encountered in this register. So if I want to give a motive to someone, right, I probably won't do, and who is meant to be brave, right, I probably won't do it in the low register, in the horn, right? So where might I do it? Middle register, here the horn is most characteristic sounding. The tone quality can vary from warm, dark, and haunting to velvety, noble, and heroic. Lovely. At louder dynamics and or when ascending the register, the tone becomes brighter, projection increases. The best control of the instrument is offered in this register. And then high register, so on and so forth. General characteristics, technical considerations, so on and so forth. It basically tells you how to write for the horn, right? And every other instrument here. You can tell by the spine how well used this is. Because, you know, there's no way you can know every single instrument to that extent. So a resource like that becomes very helpful. So that's the first thing when you're thinking about orchestration. Know your instruments. The second of all is experiment with the combination of sounds. Even on the piano, you heard the high and the low, the extreme high and the low when put together, it's a very eerie quality, right? It's like it's two instruments. It doesn't sound like it should come together. And then in the middle, it's more warm, it blends better, right? Sure. But then think about, okay, nowadays with technology, we can go, okay, what does this sound like if I give it to the flute? If the flute and the oboe were playing it together? What if the flute and the clarinet were playing it together, right? What if the flute and the bassoon, God forbid, were playing it together, right? But you find these combinations of sounds start producing, some of them would start combining to form one sound, and you start hearing something special that's more than the sum of these two instruments together. And all I can say there is experiment with the combinations of sounds. I was just talking about this on the ride here. We were talking about Ravel's Bolero, right, where he's sort of increasing the number of instruments used. We talked about, there's a guy called Kodai, Zoltan Kodai, and he wrote the piece where it's like each melody is played through different instruments, different combination of instruments, and quite fantastic combinations of instruments. There was one where it was very high bassoon with the flute, and strangely, it sounded good, right? Something that I probably wouldn't have done. But that brings me to the next point. Study what you like. If you hear a sound that you like, find out how it's created, right? It's down to you to know what you like, what you want to reproduce. So find out how it's done. Find a score for it. If there's no score, hopefully your internal musicianship is good enough that you can dictate it. Otherwise, do what I do as a kid and just go plonk, plonk, plonk. Oh, that sounds like it. What's the next note? Is it higher or lower? Right? I was a very dumb kid. Okay, so I spent hours on it. Hey, it gave me an excuse not to do my homework. Don't do that. Right? Take it from me. Okay, so study what you like. And more importantly, as starting musicians, we tend to look at everything that's in front of us and we go, oh my gosh, all the possibilities. Use everything, right? That's like going to your cupboard and going like, let's cook a meal, right? It's not going to be good. Know when to use a little bit, right? Sometimes less is more. Whenever I arrange, it's kind of like I start off with the melody. I normally just do a quick harmonization, and then I score it for maybe the strings, or maybe like a wind ensemble, just to see what it sounds like, some ideas, it's down on paper, right? Then I start adding. Let's add a bass. What does it sound like? Okay, that's still fine. Let's add a little bit of flute. Let's do this, do that. And then at some point, I go, is this too much? What happens if I take away one instrument? What happens if I take away two instruments? Right? And then sometimes you find by doing that, you realize actually you don't need all of this. Yeah? Same thing for choirs, right? You don't need to use all the voices in all the divisi you need. Keep it simple. All you need is 3 notes to create a triad, 4 notes to create a chord. Most chords. And finally, most of all, is practice. For those of you who watch two-set violin, 40 hours a day, right? For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, go watch some two-set violin. All right, so I think that's all I'm going to do for today. And hopefully you guys have some things to think about. But I do want to end with all around, here we go. The most perfect you can never be. Here we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sir Wong, for everything that you've taught us today. I personally think that the next time I get on stage to sing, keeping everything that I learned today in mind, I will do much better. May I please have Sir Freddie Connor Karmuti to give a word of thanks.
Our esteemed most valuable distinguished guest, Mr. Victor Wong, our respected principal who have taken leave, and Vice Principal Father Javasius Nongse, and Rector Father Joby Joseph, who were not able to be here, even though dear colleagues and our dearest music students. Hope the session has motivated us all to go back to our residence and resume our daily musical preparation to enhance our musical skill. In short, practice. We are indebted to you at the moment, Mr. Wong, for the highly musical information, and that we all have gained something from it as an inspiration, motivation, and ideas, and to be more creative. We also express our deep gratitude to our respected principal for his presence and for always being ready to be part in our event, a true blessing and inspiration to the college. We extend our gratitude to our vice principal and to our rector, who's always here to support us. And we could have not done it without our help, without the help of Mr. Cosmos Lamare from the computer department, who have also always been there to provide us with visuals. Further extending our thankfulness to our Professor Nathaniel Majau from the media department, who has helped this workshop to reach many others through the video teleconferencing. A big thank you to our very own student, Ms. Catherine Cordor Lalu, for a splendid job in hosting the show, and Brother Pinshai Latam for the opening prayers. And as we can see, all the decorations and the stage looks lovely. So thank you so much for the volunteers and the team itself. My dear talented colleagues and students with a humble heart, I extend my gratitude to you all for this would have not been possible without your presence and without your help. And also one of the most important person today who have made this possible, our dear HOD, the head of department, Dr. Bochaprang Lingdo, who always grab any kind of opportunity that he can get. So today it was Mr. Wong. And thank you for such a wonderful opportunity, sir. I hope he's around somewhere here. And let us not forget that music is almost impossible without sound. So Mr. Lucas, and we have our very own student as well, Mr. Ben, and his team. And thank you so much for the assistance. So
we can call it a day, and I hope you all have a great evening ahead. And I wish Mr. Wong as well. God bless you and have a great evening ahead.
On some sort of warm-up books, and you can come up and have a look if you're not in a hurry. Have a browse if you want.
So yeah, again, you can browse through his books, as he have said. So we pray that we may evermore dwell in him as he in us. So evermore better ever. Thank you so much. Kublai Shiejaru.
Thank you all for joining us today. I request the students to please not leave early and help us to clean up. Thank you. Also, the students who haven't given their attendance to Sir Marak, please go to him.